Welcome everyone. My name is Tamara Zwart and I am the Director of Textile and Apparel for the Cradle to Cradle Products Innovation Institute. And I am super excited to be hosting this webinar today and see the high interest in the topic. So thank you for joining this Cradle to Cradle Certified Materials Spotlight webinar featuring the very first Cradle to Cradle Gold Certified denim fabric. The denim fabric received an overall gold level for material health, even reached the highest level possible, platinum. And it has been developed in collaboration between G-Star Raw, Dye-Star, Artistic Milliners, and Eco-Intelligent Growth. That having said, I'm so pleased to introduce you to our presenters today from 3 of these companies. First of all, Adriana. She is the denim and sustainability expert at G-Star Raw. Vaisa, corporate responsibility and communications manager at Artistic Milliners. Aglaya, she's senior consultant and lead for fashion and textiles at Eco-Intelligent Growth. And with us today also, Marisa Gruber, my colleague. She is stakeholder engagement manager at Cradle to Cradle Products Innovation Institute. In this webinar, we want to offer our audience insights in the assessment and certification process of the certified denim, share their learnings and the key success factors. And today is an interactive session and we will definitely leave time for Q&A at the end. And if for this Q&A you have any questions, please, as we proceed, just simply put your questions into the questions fields in your control panel. Also to let you know that we are recording this session and the link of the recording will be made available in a follow-up email, so look out for that. But before we jump into a conversation with everyone, let me share some background information on the Cradle to Cradle Products Innovation Institute, the Cradle to Cradle Standard, and the work of Fashion Positive. The Cradle to Cradle Products Innovation Institute was founded by Bill McDonough and Michael Braungart in 2010. The Institute is a nonprofit organization, and it's our mission to turn the making of things into a positive force for people, the economy, and of course the planet. We administer the Cradle to Cradle Certified Product Program, and the program is a guidance system for assessing and continually improving products based upon 5 sustainability attributes. I will explain these with the next slide. For us at the Institute, our vision is for a prosperous economy where safe materials are intelligently cycled and manufactured in ways that positively impact people and planet. Here you can see the 5 attributes as mentioned before. For material health, we aim for products to be designed in such a way that they can have a positive impact on humans and the environment, all the way from production to use to reuse. So this means selecting safe and healthy materials and chemicals. The focus of material reutilization is to eliminate the concept of waste and design products in such a way that everything becomes a resource for something else. And the ultimate goal is to have 100% recovery and upcycling of technical nutrients and or 100% composting of biological nutrients. This all in order to retain the full value of the nutrient. Thirdly, we envision a future powered by renewable energy. A future in which manufacturers positively impact energy supply and where there's also a balance in the ecosystem and where carbon is kept in soil and vegetation. With water stewardship, the emphasis is on the protection and stewardship of water as a precious resource. And this is done by encouraging both effective water management but also use strategies. Social fairness aims to support and celebrate human and natural systems. And this refers to how operations are designed and also making a positive difference in the lives of employees and the local community. And additional to these 5 attributes, there are 5 levels of achievement, all the way from from basic to platinum. This means that the certification is not a binary model with a pass or fail model, but it's more a path of continuous improvement. So this means it acknowledges that transition and also human intention are required. And that's also why every manufacturer that receives the Cradle to Cradle certification mark is required to make a good faith effort towards optimization. Then, when a product is certified, it receives an achievement level for each of these 5 categories. And it's the lowest achievement level that determines in the end the product's overall level. So let me show you how this works with this random scorecard. This specific product would have received gold for material health, silver for material reutilization, bronze for renewable energy, water stewardship was silver, and social fairness silver as well. And then the overall level is bronze, because this is the lowest achievement level of the renewable energy. In order to accelerate the global fashion industry towards circular fashion, the Institute has launched Fashion Positive in 2014. And within that initiative, we, together with a community of pioneering brands, but also designers and suppliers, we identify, we optimize, and we certify the fashion inputs for the circular economy. So these are yarns, dyes, fabrics, zippers, but also trims, finishing, and much more. And by doing this, we are creating a growing library of cradle-to-cradle verified materials. This library is called the Fashion Positive Materials Collection and can be found on fashionpositive.org. And of course, I invite you to have a look and scroll through all of the materials and products that have already been certified against the cradle-to-cradle standard, and also to start using these to create your own circular fashion. In this library, you will find also the certified denim of today's webinar. The Cradle to Cradle Gold Certified Denim is made from 100% organic cotton. It was grown without any synthetic fertilizers or toxic pesticides. And as you already know, it's the first denim to achieve the gold Cradle to Cradle certification level. By achieving the overall gold level, it means that the fabric is truly circular. 100% of its ingredients are assessed and optimized for material health and meet very, very high standards for the other attributes as well. Something that I would like to clarify at this point is that it's the denim fabric that is certified and not the jeans as a complete garment. Now, before that we continue with our questions for our panelists, I would like to show you the video that G-Star has produced for their new denim garments.
How to make the most sustainable jeans. Start by growing at 91% plastic in invent the cleanest indigo dyeing process in the world. No salt and 70% less chemicals, which means all water can be recycled and reused without any traces of carbon fiber. Choose washing techniques that don't waste a drop of water. Keep it simple and let nature dye your jeans with 85% chemicals. Add buttons that have no toxic chemicals. Use responsibly sourced labels. Make each garment 90% recyclable. Finally, share your knowledge with the whole generation so everyone can make the change. The most sustainable jeans ever, our most sustainable jeans.
As was mentioned in this video, G-Star and its mill partner work together to create an open access data sharing so that the fabric and the development process, they both remain instruments for change in the fashion industry. And at this point, I would like to invite Adriana, denim and sustainability expert at G-Star Raw, to turn on her video. And I would like to take this moment to remind you that for the Q&A, you can add any questions you might have in the chat box. When doing so, please indicate to whom you are addressing the question. Adriana, over the past decade, G-Star has made great efforts to manufacture its products in increasingly responsible and also sustainable ways. For instance, with Raw for the Ocean, you had collections made with recycled ocean plastics reclaimed from the seashores. However, with the launch of the Elwood RFTPI jeans and the D-Stack jacket, which by the way are the names of the garments, sustainability was taken to a whole new level. Can you tell us, how did you come to the ambition of designing and creating the world's most sustainable jeans?
Well, first of all, Tamara, thank you for having us here, and also welcome everybody, and thanks for joining the webinar. For G-Star, sustainability is a condition of doing business, and it's a constant work in progress. So we're always looking for the next sustainable innovations and are always trying to surpass our latest sustainable achievements. We strive to have a circular approach to how denim is made and also how denim is used. So therefore, our most sustainable jeans are actually the result of our own long-standing ambitions to push the boundaries and to continuously innovate for the future.
And while the entire pair of jeans hasn't been Cradle to Cradle certified, you have invested a significant amount of time and also resources into ensuring that the whole pair of jeans was sustainably developed. Adriana, can you walk us through maybe through the other sustainable design choices that were made?
Yes, of course. Well, considering that the largest percentage of the jean product is made from denim fabric, as a starting point, we wanted to create first gold Cradle to Cradle certified denim fabric. So to make this happen, we've partnered with G-Star and artistic milliners. And this fabric, as you mentioned, features organic cotton, as well as the cleanest indigo technology up to date, which uses 70% less chemicals, requires no hydrosulfates, and also produces no sulfide byproduct during the reduction and dyeing process, which means that consequently we can save the water and leave a clean and recyclable water effluent. Furthermore, as you mentioned, the fabric is made at artistic milliners according to the Cradle to Cradle principles at gold level, and actually on the material health has received a platinum. Looking at the pair of jeans, so fabric was one of the important aspects. In terms of wash and manufacturing, we worked together with our long-standing partner, Cytex, based in Vietnam, to make and wash the garments with the utmost care for people and environment. By employing sustainable technologies such as laser and ozone and using no stones and no potassium permanganate, we were able to bring the water consumption to 10 liters per garment, and actually 98% of that water is recycled and reused, and the other 2% evaporates, so which leaves no water to be wasted or discharged into the local environment. Also within the Cytex factory, we have this revolving sealing system where actually just the warm air that is Vietnam, the natural air, is used to dry our jeans partially. So in this way, we can also save like 85% of the energy. In terms of design, we made our product 98% recyclable by eliminating the zippers and rivets. Normally, due to the metal parts, top block would be cut off, and only 75 to 80% of the garment is reused. So we were happy to increase this number. Instead of zippers, we used eco-finished metal buttons, which we created in collaboration with YKK. These buttons, you don't use any electroplating, which means all the harsh chemistry of this process has been left out. Instead of using polycotton pocketing base, we also used organic cotton in this case. Instead of leather labels, we used yarn labels, which are cellulose based, and the cellulose is FSC certified, which means Forest Stewardship Council certified. Instead of polyester care labels, we use recycled polyester. Also, our carton packaging and hang tags are responsibly sourced as well. They're also FSC based. Going beyond design manufacturing of the product when it comes to customer use and customer impact, we added a clever care tag to our care labels in the garments, and as well on our website, where we can educate our consumers how to care for their garments, because vast water impact happens at the actual customer user stage. So we also added tips via our website how to prolong the life of the garment, as well how to responsibly part from it. So just looking into the design in a holistic way and dissecting all the bits and pieces of the jeans and optimizing them, that's how we came up with this, our most sustainable jeans.
Wonderful.
Ever, but it's actually so far, because of course this is a continuation of improvement, continual improvement.
Yes, exactly. And can you tell us, why did you decide that certifying the denim according to cradle standard had to be part of the requirement?
Well, our long-standing mission, as I mentioned, is actually to create a gold level cradle-to-cradle certified denim product. So as the first stepping stone towards this goal, it was the creation of the first gold certified cradle-to-cradle denim fabric. After long research and development, we thought we had found the right ingredients and partners where creation of this fabric would be possible. So once we thought we had all of our ducks in a row, for us it was essential to go through cradle-to-cradle certification process, because we wanted to validate our assumptions and be the first one step closer to our ultimate goal of actually being able to design for circular economy.
Here we can see both the jacket and the jeans for men and women. We are of course curious, how has the collection made with cradle-to-cradle certified denim fabric been received by, on the one hand, your internal stakeholders, also your sales personnel in the shops, and of course the consumers?
Well, our internal teams and external partner teams were extremely excited to work together on this, because this project is something that has never been done before. Our sales teams and staff were very happy to learn about all the processes, and are actually very proud to have an opportunity to sell these products in their stores. We received a great response from the media on multiple channels, online as well as offline. For example, Forbes had a nice article, "Disrupting the Game, G-Star launches the most sustainable denim ever." Also, our most sustainable jeans are now exhibited at the V&A Fashion from Nature exhibit, which just opened on April 21st. And our customers currently have over 16 styles to choose from in this fabric. So thus, I think response has been really amazing so far.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And the last question for now, Adriana, why Artistic Milliners?
It's because they share the same passion and vision for sustainable denim that we do as a company. And we also have a long-standing relationship with each other, and we are very grateful to work with a partner who was willing to go through this extremely intensive certification process. So that's why.
Okay, thank you so much. So the fact that your companies have a shared vision and dedication towards making a positive impact has been an important factor, which brings me to Artistic Milliners. And I would like to, there's Faisa already. Hi, Faisa. Faisa is here with us today also to ask some questions and later on take us through some slides that she has prepared for us. And I can see that there's already quite a lot of questions coming in the Q&A, which is wonderful. And we will try to discuss all of them at the end in our Q&A session. But in case we run out of time, we will follow up with you afterwards. Faisa, before we dive into the specifics of the certified denim fabric, can you share with us some background information about Artistic Milliners?
Okay, first of all, thank you so much, Tamara, for initiating and organizing this webinar, and for inviting us here to share the journey of certification that we had with all the partners, including G-Star, EIG, and obviously the Institute. And thank you so much, Adriana, for your kind words about the partnership that we had, that we have with G-Star. We really appreciate, the collaboration that we have done with you, and then, we are looking forward to, similar collaborations in future. Okay, talking about the history of Artistic Milliners, we're really looking at a history of 69 years. That's a rich history of entrepreneurship. And but if you really take away all the layers of the words and jargons, we are at our heart, we're really a family company, because that's what that's where we originated from, and we really look for the values of trust, integrity, and respect with the partners that we work with. But that's our heritage. Basically, Artistic Milliners is also the denim company of the future. So you see, whether it's about creating crystal clear, or really pioneering the LEED certification in Pakistan, or breaking the glass ceilings for the women in the manufacturing sector, or expanding or increasing the utility of the laser technologies with our brand partners, we are there. You will always find Artistic Milliners and the emerging, innovating news in the textile or the denim sector. So that's like our mantra. That's like one milestone after another. So we're always looking for partners, winners, experts, collaborators who can work with us to create the future. And that's what Artistic Milliners is about. And yeah. And also, I would also like to emphasize that even though we are energetic, fast-paced, we love the glamorous world of denim, but at the same time, we have a very mindful, we're also very mindful of the people that we work with and the planet that is literally our home. So that is also a very important, almost genetic part of Artistic Milliners.
Thank you for sharing that background. So it's clear that Artistic Milliners is very dedicated to being a front runner also when it comes to sustainability. And I was wondering, can you give our audience some examples of the journey that Artistic Milliners has made over the past several years?
Yes, sure. Yeah, you have to. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so basically, before I start, with the journey of sustainability that Artistic Milliners has, covered since the past 69 years and what we plan to do in future, I would really like to emphasize that at this point in time, Artistic Milliners has a very fast-paced upward trajectory. I'm talking in terms of financial growth, and it is very important to mention this because it is with this muscle and might that we are talking about the concepts like responsibility. So, when we talk about responsibility or sustainable business, it is not just an ideal or a concept or a dream or a wish. We are actually saying that we have the capacity and the resources to work for it, to actually invest in it, because, sometimes sustainability requires a lot of innovation, a lot of investment, and we have the willingness to, weigh in these ideas. So going forward, Tamara, have you given me remote access of this presentation? Yes, I got it now.
Yes,
Thank you.
I have.
Yeah, thank you. I got it now. Just give me a minute. I think it's.
If you see Fashion Positive in the left bottom corner, there's an arrow there that you can click.
Tamara, can you run it for me? Because I think it's.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you. So basically, this what you see here on the screen is is a life cycle of a recycled denim. And the reason why I chose to pick this slide and put it up there in front of the audience is that, in terms of the operating model of Artistic Milliners, this is how we look, in every area, not just in terms of recycling denim, but in terms of, recycling energy, in terms of recycling water, in terms of closing the loop on all the resources that comes into play when we are creating the denim. So it was in 2014 when we brought the first LEED certification in Pakistan, the first LEED Gold certification in Pakistan. And back at that time, it was not a very common practice. And we were working with United States Green Building Council with its head office in USA. And the landscape of the denim industry in this country were probably not there yet. But when we set up this benchmark, we know that a lot of companies applied for the certification and they start requiring it. And similarly, during the same year, we were also the first company in Pakistan to initiate working on post-consumer waste denim with iCollect and one of our very strategic brand partner. So this is something that we have been doing for a long time. And Crystal Clear or Cradle to Cradle certification is something which has culminated as a result of our efforts over the last many years. Because this is not something, you cannot look at it as a project in isolation. This is a journey that we have been covering since a long time, and that is why it's very important to emphasize for all the companies, or the vendors, or independent thinkers who are tuned into the webinar right now to realize that Cradle to Cradle is basically part of a larger circular economy. And when we talk about concepts like recycling and creating more sustainable practices, we are looking for tools and we are looking for practical ways to implement this. So this certification is basically one tool that is out there for you to utilize and actually realize your ideas. So this was about it. Tamara, can you please move to the next slide? Thank you. And I would also like to mention that also on the garment side, we are, like I mentioned, if you have an ideal of sustainability, but you do not have the resources to invest in it, the ideal does not really do much, unfortunately. So we have the financial strength to, very proactively and very swiftly invest in, cutting edge technologies like laser, ozone, nanobubble, you name it. When you come to our garment factories at the LEED Certified factory, you will find every possible sustainable technology, out there that we are working on. And now we've also, in very near future, we're also going to inaugurate our Eco-Tech plant, which is a beautiful combination of how sustainability, amalgamates with technology. So, when you talk about sustainability, it's also very important to always keep in mind that it's always giving you some business benefits, some efficiency benefits. So, that is how we also look at it. And that's also, a very important factor for us in terms of, the garment production. Can you move to the next slide, please? Yes, and I would also like to emphasize that majorly in the denim side, because water is a very intensive resource when we talk about dyeing and we talk about, the fabric part of the production of garments. So basically, Artistic Milliners has the largest ETP plant in the denim industry of Karachi, and it has come with a huge investment, and it can treat about 800,000 gallons of water per day. So that's a huge quantity of water, and we're not just kind of treating the water and just throwing it away. We are making sure that the water that comes out of our ETP plant is sent back to aquifers. So the water table height, the groundwater table level that has kind of really went down over the past many years is restored. So in everything we do, when we're trying to create a cleaner or a better denim, we're also trying to make sure that it has at least some positive direct impacts on our environment as well. Can you move to the next slide? Thank you. Okay, this is something which I kind of referred to in the beginning, and it was not just words. It's not when you're talking about recycled energy, we have taken a very major step in terms of establishing a wind power plant. Basically, Artistic Energy, as we call it, is a subsidiary of Artistic Milliners, and we have set up a 50 megawatt wind energy plant not quite far away from Karachi, and it is already in operation. And we are going to sell the energy to the national grid, where it will be used to power hundreds of thousands of homes in Karachi. And when you talk about concepts like renewable energy. I mean, there might be questions, you know, in your mind that, you know, our forte is in denim production. So what has artistic milliners to do with renewable energy? Like I mentioned before that, you know, when you asked about, you know, introducing artistic milliners, I did not start it with we are denim manufacturers or we are denim creators, because that is our product, that is our expertise. But you may really talk about what artistic milliners is about. I said it's a spirit of entrepreneurship, and it's a spirit of trying to create value for the social and the environmental benefit. So whether it be denim or whether it is, you know, recycling energy, we know that we have to do something with our resources and with our capacity and with the, you know, the financial strength that we have to create not just wealth, which is very important, but also, you know, social and environmental benefits. So this is a living proof of what artistic milliners is about, and we are very proud of that, because then again, artistic energy is also, you know, a kind of rebellion, I would say, in the sense, because still, you know, globally, about 40% of the energy production is done via very unsustainable and unhealthy coal. So to me, it seems very primitive. I mean, coal is something which probably humans should have done like hundreds and thousands of years ago. So it has taken a lot of time for you know, the industry to come together and actually, you know, think about these concepts. And we want to again take the lead and you know, send out this message that the concept is here and we are doing it, we are implementing it, and we are also inviting and also encouraging other entrepreneurs in Pakistan to, you know, look into it as a viable technological option. Can you please move to the next slide? Okay, basically, this is just a snapshot of what a major part of artistic milliners is about. We have an extremely strong focus on women empowerment, and almost all the brand partners that we work with are aware of it, because most of the projects that we do are in collaboration. So whether it is, you know, a Gap Inc. With their PACE program, or whether it is, you know, Bestseller with their Heart project, or Levi's with their worker well-being program, we are into, you know, we are in them, we are working with them in, you know, promoting women empowerment in industries. And this is something that we were also pioneers to take up, because in Pakistan, we talk about running long-term, you know, and year-long programs of training and development. It becomes quite challenging, because concepts like women empowerment can create a lot of trouble on the factory floors, considering the social strata where women come from, and considering, you know, the kind of resistance, you know, the male supervisors or the society can, you know, give to it. But we have been always very adamant in taking this up, and not just the factory workers. We have also launched a campaign for promoting women at the managerial and the executive post, and we have repeatedly tried to break that barrier where, you know, they say that particularly in the manufacturing or the denim sector, where it's considered as a very hardcore job, and generally women do not come up to take up those roles. We have tried that, you know, in every important position, we have a woman manager in artistic milliners. Can you move to the next slide?
So this slide is the video, and I just received 2 notifications that the sound was not very audible with the other video, so I'm going to turn it up and hope it's better for this video. And also, if you have questions, please don't put them in the chat, but put them in the Q&A tool in the bar. So please put your questions in the Q&A.
We make products using intensive resources, but we don't design it for its second or third life cycle. There is no plan for its disposal, and when there is no plan, the de facto plan is increased waste, chemical, air, and water pollution. Recycling is good, but it only delays the final destination of the product, which is the landfill. The world's first cradle-to-cradle gold certified denim passed through 5 checkpoints to achieve this level. Material health. The conventional indigo dyeing process uses chemicals that are harmful and generates wastewater and sludge that are difficult to recycle. Our scientists at Artistic Milliners invented Crystal Clear, a new indigo dyeing technology that is organic and leaves wastewater that is 100% recyclable and free from harmful chemicals. With this, we have created a product that is healthy down to 100 parts per million. Material reutilization. Dylan is made from certified 100% organic cotton, which means there are no genetically modified variants. We have our own post-consumer recycling plant that gives new life to your old jeans. Renewable energy. Artistic Energy has a 49 megawatt wind power project in Karachi, via which we are able to offset 6,700 tons of greenhouse gas emissions. This corresponds to 50% of energy requirement of Dylan manufacturing. Water stewardship. Artistic Milliners has the largest wastewater treatment plant in the denim industry of Karachi. It has the daily capacity to clean 800,000 gallons of water per day. And we are also setting up a plant to recycle 98% of water in the facility. Social fairness. We are assessed against the thorough checklist of United Nations Global Compact principles and have strict code of conduct for suppliers in our value chain. The world's first cradle-to-cradle gold certified denim has received media acknowledgement in Forbes, Sportswear International, Rivet, Women's Wear Daily, and many more. Our gift to the industry. Dylan is open sourced in Fashion Positive Materials Library so that everyone in the denim industry can join us in our journey towards circular economy. So come along, will you?
I just love this video.
Thank you. That just sums up everything, in a very crisp way.
It does. It does. So this video mentions that the denim is assessed against the 5 cradle-to-cradle attributes: material health, material reutilization, renewable energy, water stewardship, and social fairness. We can't repeat it often enough. And I was just wondering which attribute of these 5 had the most impact on your production process, and why?
I would say material health, hands down, because this particular area had layers of assessment. If you really think about it, and we literally had to invent the most cleanest indigo dye ever to qualify for the platinum level. So you could see the amount of disruptive innovation that was involved in qualifying for that level of certification. But that doesn't end there. EIG had the entire all the ingredients in the fabric tested down to 100 parts per million. And that seems very intimidating in terms of the chemistry part of it, like what is involved and what is not. But also when you look at it, it required a lot of courage from our suppliers to demonstrate the kind of transparency that it requires. So you see, so I would like to congratulate them, because particularly in the material health, we have achieved the platinum level. So obviously there's nothing to hide, because this automatically means the material is the most sustainable and healthy and in the environmental and ecological way that it can be. So thank you so much, all the suppliers that that have helped us achieve this level, and also my R&D team, Artistic Milliners R&D team, that have worked with the partners. I would like to mention Dye-Star, that have created the cleanest new dyeing process to qualify for this area.
Yeah, it's a great example, of what teamwork and collaboration can do and what can be achieved. But today we don't only want to talk about the successes and advantages and the benefits, we also want to create a realistic picture for our audience regarding the process of creating, verifying, and optimizing, and ultimately certifying a cradle-to-cradle certified material. Because in the end, the value of the cradle-to-cradle standard is the rigor of it. So when looking back at the process of verification, what, in your opinion, Raisa, would you do or like to see differently next time, and why?
You're right about the rigor there, because right from the very beginning, the process is extremely thorough. It's very intense, and there is very little leverage that you might get in terms of overlooking certain parts or trying to kind of oversee certain areas, because there's so many parameters involved. So I would say that I haven't really seen an certification process that assess a product and how it is being made in such a thorough way. And I think the most difficult part was trying to get the suppliers to cooperate also, because when you're talking about material health, like I mentioned, you're talking about every ingredient that goes into fabric, denim fabric, and then not just a primary ingredient. For example, it's a compound, and then it's made up of different parts, different elements, and you have to go down to all the different elements, and then you have to assess them, and then you have to get the supplier to agree to share the information of how the product has been composed. So, that kind of transparency and that kind of detailing, and even trying to identify a minute element that might be harmful to the environment, I mean, that was extremely daunting. And I think it was very, we did encounter certain suppliers who were not willing to, cooperate in that sense, but we respect that. But then again, we had to prioritize our supplier in a way that in a way that we could qualify for the material health part. So that is one thing I would like probably to be different in future in terms of cooperation, obviously, because it comes with all the legal coverage in terms of the NDAs involved, in terms of us even not getting to know what lies in the suppliers' compounds and materials. But this one thing that I would like to change. And also there was one more thing that I mentioned to Aglaya during the certification, is the collaboration between the certifying bodies. Say, for instance, we're talking about BCI cotton and they're trying to get that certified or whatever, then some sort of cooperation between BCI or CDSC with Cradle to Cradle can make the process much easier. I mean, we have gone through it, and it will be much easier for others to kind of just pick it up and make their own certified products. But if there is collaboration between the certifying bodies, that will be much easier for people to adopt to these kind of certifications.
Yes, yeah, I understand and agree. So thank you for sharing all of your insights on this, Faisa. And next, I would like to introduce you to Aglaya Gomez of Eco-Intelligent Growth. And I'd like to ask her to turn on her video. And there she is. Hi, Aglaya. Aglaya is Senior Consultant and Lead for Fashion and Textiles at one of our assessor bodies, Eco-Intelligent Growth. And Eco-Intelligent Growth is based in Barcelona, Spain. It's a circular economy consultancy based on the cradle-to-cradle principles since its foundation in 2005. And since 2013, it's an official accredited assessor body. So, Aglaya, thank you for joining us today in this call. And I know that over the past 5 years, you have conducted 20 assessments, of which at least 10 were in fashion and textiles. And before you answer my question, I see you are still on mute, so you might want to unmute yourself in the meantime. Can you tell us, what do you feel Cradle to Cradle Certified can do for the fashion industry?
Okay, well, thank you very much. Can you hear me now? Okay. Thank you very much for inviting me as well. And I'm very happy to see that this webinar is happening. Thank you for organizing it. And congratulations to my colleagues and speakers before me. They have explained very well the certification, the program, the path. I think it gives a good idea, but if I can add something, I will be happy to. So your question is about what can the certification program bring to the fashion industry, right? I think that, well, we know quite well what the impacts of the fashion industry are in the global economy, in the environment, in the society. The Cradle to Cradle program, as has been said, has the goal of involving the supply chain, all the industry, into being more transparent, into being
well, to helping change towards having a positive impact. So I think that this is the main impact that we can hope for. And as it has been said, Cradle to Cradle is the tool for the circular economy, for its verification and design. So we work hard on bringing positive materials for this new circular economy.
Yes, exactly. The Cradle to Cradle standard as the verification tool for circular economy. That's an important topic. And you should be able to control the slides now. I hope it works. Okay. Otherwise, just let me know. For my next question, can you explain what in general a certification process looks like? So what are the steps? Who are involved? Can you tell us something about the duration and about the cost?
Okay, so what I will do is first show you an image of the steps. We have to think that this is a multi-attribute certification because of this goal of wanting to have a positive impact throughout the economy, environment, and society. So first of all, and let's see if this works. Yeah, it does. So first of all, when we start working, well, this certification is product-based. So we will certify one product or a family of products at a time. And the first thing that we will do is to sign a non-disclosure agreement with the company who wants to certify a product. Because obviously we work for transparency, but it is not our job to communicate this, but the company to do so. So we will only work as a third-party trustee. So the first thing is to sign this document and then have a first list of what the product is made of. So what the company buys, manufacturer maybe, in this case, Artistic Milliners, buys to make their finished product, right? Then I think that you have to help me here because, yeah, thank you. Based on that, we do a proposal, and this is related to the costs that you were mentioning. The costs are not fixed. They are very much related to the complexity of the product, as we will see later on. So, and the same goes for the times. So, well, maybe then at the end we can have some ideas, but this is very, very a question mark, kind of. Then what we do after this proposal is accepted, we start working with the company who wishes to certify in different areas at the same time. First thing is that we, for the material health, ask the company to send a letter to their suppliers, as Faiza explained, actually, so that they understand that their client is willing to go through this process, and that this is important for their clients, so that they need their collaboration. And on the company side, we start understanding how the product is made. So what type of energy is used, how is water used, etc. And obviously, who is this company behind the certification? So in social terms, this is what we go for. And then, I don't know if this is very slow on my end or it doesn't work. Okay. Then when the company has contacted the suppliers, then the suppliers start sending information, and I will explain a little bit more in detail in the next slide how this works. And if you can help me here. Yeah. When we have all the information on the material, then we do a site visit, and there we see the process, we see the energy that is used, the wastewater treatment, if there is water involved, like this in this case. We talk to the company, we talk about social aspects, about the process, about the quality, about innovation and the future, because what we want is to have a growing positive impact. Okay, and we do all the assessments, which results in thank you very much, on some specific documents explaining where we get at in terms of social fairness, in terms of water stewardship, in terms of renewable energy, in terms also of the design of the product, how it is recyclable, and last, most important, kind of, what the toxicology of the product is. So we, the material health assessor in this case, because we are general assessors, and we have worked with MBDC, a material health assessor who has done a great job. I take the opportunity to say that. We explain why the product is gold compatible in this case, and how. And then we can go to send all this information to the Cradle to Cradle Products Innovation Institute through this form. Okay. And yep. The institute then reviews this, and when they understand everything and they agree with it, then the certification is issued, and then, well, trade license agreement needs to be signed between the applicant and the C2CPII, etc. But this is a process which looks a little bit complex, but it actually makes sense. So when you get into it,
it makes a lot of sense. And I think it's a good reflection of the rigor of it all. I just need to have a look at the time and see we have 10 minutes left. So we might have to speed up a little bit through the next slides. So we still have a little bit of time for the Q&A.
Yeah, what I will do, because Faiza and Adriana have explained a lot of the categories, I will just focus on a couple of categories of the material health part, if it's okay. If you can look for that. Yeah, we look, as Faiza said, at 100% of the substances at 0.01% of their composition. Okay, and we look for them to be optimized so that they are not hazardous for people, so workers, users, or the environment. Okay, and the next one, which we have to look into the different components. Okay, and you see here that there are different levels and that we need to look into. But I think the next one is interesting, because we have said that in this case, Artistic Milliners would contact all its tier 1 suppliers, so they would understand that this is important for their client. If you see lightning, there is a little bit of bad weather behind me, but it's okay. So, but what happens? Sometimes the supplier does not have the whole information. So what we need to do is go and talk to their suppliers. And this is a little bit more complicated because they do not understand why they have to do that. Because, okay, so this is kind of a long process, but at the end, out of experience, suppliers understand the meaning of it. So, and they get more collaborative with time. And I think that, yeah, we can go very quickly to the rest of the, well, these are the 20 over toxicology and more endpoints that we look at for every single substance we need to assess. So this is why this is a little bit complex. And yeah, there's an overview for material health, for material utilization. As you said, well, gold level is what we need to do is ensure that the product, beyond being healthy, has a plan for never becoming a waste. So this is what we checked for this project. This is a picture of Artistic Milliners and their recovery plan. For renewable energy, the same thing. We need to ensure that at least 50% of the energy is sourced from renewable sources, or is the unavoidable greenhouse gases have been offset, and this was ensured with the process. And you see an image of the power plant. And yeah, sorry. And for water stewardship, what we want to ensure is that water coming out of the facility is cleaner than it was when it came in. This is what we verified, or at least as clean. So, and I wanted to show you this picture for social fairness, because Faiza has talked a lot about their projects, but they work on different areas. They work for empowerment of women, but they also work with their local communities in terms of health contributing to the population in general. So this is a picture that I like, and if there are questions, I think that Faiza will be able to explain much better what they are about. So yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you, Aglaya. And I think this is a nice moment also to invite now again the other panelists, as well as Marissa, to turn on their videos and unmute themselves so we can start our Q&A session. We have another 5 minutes. And
this is to frighten everyone.
let me just quickly move to this slide. Yes. So if you have questions, please, you can still add them to the Q&A in the bar, and we can follow up with them later. But for now, I would say, Marissa, feel free to go ahead with the questions that our viewers posed.
Thanks, Tamara. Thanks so much, everyone, for this really great presentation. We've received so many questions, it's not possible for us to answer all of them. I did want to kick off with a question that Beth Wright sent in. Are you able to share what G-Star's next steps are? Are there plans to roll out the Dylan fabric to more denim products or lines? So it'd be great to hear from Adriana about plans for further developments.
Yes, of course. For us, we already have this currently in 16 different styles. So, I mean, of course, we have the 4 styles were designed in our most sustainable jeans way that are put into the bestsellers. But the Dylan fabric, or G-Star Certified Gold denim fabric as well, how would we call it, is also already in many different styles, and it continues to be a quality that we will continue to use, as well as variations of it that we have already been working on. And that's something that's coming up. I don't want to disclose much of it, but of course, these processes that we are now applying to all of our qualities. Great. I hope that answers the question.
I think it gives enough information.
Yeah.
A question came in for Faiza. Are you planning to work on any of the 5 attributes specifically to bring to platinum level?
Yes, we had a very wonderful journey in terms of trying to, in terms of putting things into perspective when we went through the certification process. So yes, we have achieved platinum in the material health, but when we talk about social fairness, water stewardship, we say that sustainability is a journey. So there's always a way to get better. So there are a lot of projects that are still in pipeline when we talk about water stewardship, energy recycling, social fairness, and you definitely hear more from us on these angles.
Great, thank you. We also received a question for Aglaya around which part of the 5 steps, of the 5 attributes, did the denim receive gold in the end? If you can just speak through that, and in reference to Tamara's outline of how the certification works.
Can you please repeat the answer?
Yes, which 5 attributes did the denim receive gold?
Okay, so all 5 attributes received gold, except for material health, which surpassed gold and arrived to platinum. But yeah, I don't know if that's the question.
Yeah, so that was okay. The main question is was gold across the board, or was
yes, because the certification, as Tamara was explaining, is not, you cannot do a mean of all the levels. You need to achieve at least 1 level throughout all the categories to reach that level overall. So if all categories were at platinum but 1 was at bronze, then we would stay at bronze. So we know that at least we have gold at each of them.
Good, great. And actually, one more question for Aglaya. How long does it take to be certified for one supplier? It looks like a very complex process. So what, especially with multiple suppliers, so how long, how does it work with that?
Yeah, so as you have seen with the images, it depends on many factors, and one of them is the involvement. Well, the first one is how much the company or the applicant is involved with the certificate. Then also how much these suppliers want to collaborate. So it highly depends on that to decide what the time frame can be. We never expect one certification certification to take less than 4 months. Okay, but it can take maybe 1 year, depending on if your goal is gold level and you do not find an alternative for a specific component, then you need to wait for innovation. But 6 months would be an estimate. Yeah.
And I wish we had four more months for this conversation because we have so many questions. We will be following up regarding the questions that haven't been answered. Thank you, everyone, for sending them in.
Well, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Just with only 1 more minute before we end this session, I would like to acknowledge and also thank G-Star and all the partners for their commitment and sharing their work and offering it open access to the fashion industry. And before closing this webinar, I would like to give the floor to Faisa for a super short elevator pitch, so she can tell us how you can also benefit and start using the Cradle to Cradle certified denim.
Oh, well, yeah, Tamara, I wouldn't see any reason why anyone would want to miss out on the most sustainable denim fabric ever created. And we're happy that, a lot of denim manufacturers now will, try to get their product certified, and that is great. And that is what, the motive has been all along. But if I may say it, at the risk of sounding arrogant, we are already far ahead of the game because we have the experience, we have the expertise, and we have the team, the resources to make, the breakthrough projects like these work. And we're not doing it because an XYZ company did it and get a profit margin out of it. We are doing it because we believe in circular economy, and that's why we took a lead on it, and we are in it for a long haul.
Wonderful. So that having said, we now reach the end of our webinar. And please know that we'll be sending a follow-up email right after this. And it will also have Faisa's contact details in case you want to reach out to her. It also has a link to a super short survey. It will only take you 2 or 3 minutes to fill it out. And we encourage you to do so because it would really help us to understand how you experienced this webinar so that we can continue to improve. And finally, I'd like to thank Adriana, Faisa, and Aglaya for sharing all of this information. And thank you, this audience, for your interest and taking the time to join us in this webinar today. And yes, remember, working alone, you can create something beautiful, but working together, we can create truly circular fashion. Thank you.